On the outskirts of Nevada, there's a motel for clowns. A clown motel. What could be happier? Well, it turns out in 2019 a feature film was made about it. I say it turns out as if I hadn't already watched it and regretted every single minute of my life since that point. But since I'm now convinced that God is dead and we're alone in the universe, I figured there's no harm in sharing it with you. Let's jump in, shall we? The film starts and we join some dodgy characters hanging out in the middle of nowhere, talking vaguely about general evil things, taking a sip from a hip flask on the side of a mountain, as you do. The guy comes up in an ill-fitting shirt to lead them on to where Hannah, the blue tie man's daughter, is practicing with a revolver. A bit of exposition and we learn that there's supposedly a gold mine that's run by clowns and it's a 2-day horse ride away. Question, why horses? Don't they have a pickup truck or something they can use? What time period is this? If it's because they're poor, why are they all wearing immaculate dress shirts and slacks? Is the secret hillbilly compound dress code smart casual? Let's keep going to see if any of these questions are ever addressed. Spoilers, they aren't. We move now to the Clown Stronghold, which is the eponymous clown motel. It's here that we see our first glimpse of the clown clan tribe. I'm not familiar with the clown lifestyle or the history of their proud people. Luckily, we are given some exposition on their struggles.
They have called us freaks! But we've built a place where we can live in peace. Away from the hatred and evil in the outside world.
I myself have never been out of these walls. For the stories my daddy tells me, I am grateful. We don't need the negativity from the outside world. This is our world. So let's celebrate.
Huzzah! Let's celebrate!
So I had a quick gander through the list of the 574 recognised Native American tribes in North America, and surprisingly clowns weren't on there. How does one become a clown in this universe? Are you born a clown? Do you discover your clown abilities like some kind of shit X-Man as you grow up? Can you just stop being a clown? Is that statement in itself clown-phobic? Anyway, after some weird inane dialogue, nightfall comes, and some of our dodgy characters and the bloke that led them here decide that they're gonna burn the place down. Oddly, the clowns just kinda watch it happen, don't really panic, they just sort of look at the flames and just burn slowly. Possibly they think that immolation is a way out of the movie, but they're about to find out that they're very sorely mistaken. And as the title credits roll, we get the generic child creepy singing thing, because clowns are creepy and children are creepy, and obviously if you put the two together they must be doubly creepy. And it's on that note, past the beginning of the film, that we finally meet our main characters.
Hey everybody, welcome to our 5th episode of Haunted Earth. We're here in California at this amazing ghost town.
Hey, Chris.
And it's our goofy ghost hunter, Ian.
Ooh, oh, yippee! My ghost radar's going off.
Well, I'm glad you said that, and it's not your gay radar. You may have to take a couple steps back.
We join a 3-man ghost hunting team out in the Nevada desert. Their names are unimportant. I say that because I've watched this film more than anyone probably on planet Earth, and I still can't remember their name, even while I'm still actively watching it. For now, I'm going to call them Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and Tweedledickhead. These 3 mad lads are combing the desert in their RV for ghost hotspots. Just so we know how dead hard they are, we get a montage of them smoking weed and drinking beer to some really shitty music. And in a vast act of hubris, the film decides that you've got enough mental space to remember 4 more characters. And they're even less memorable than the other ones. Meet, boyfriend, boring, books, and slag. They're all out celebrating boyfriend's engagement and her imminent wedding. Driving back the next day, they're ambushed by the Home Bargains version of the fog monster from Lost. The Clown Motel suddenly spawns out of the ether, and Boring is so perturbed and disturbed by this that she starts applying her eyeliner while she's driving. Barreling down the other side of the road are the Tweedles 3, and because I don't get to have nice things, none of them die. Both groups continue on their merry way, and the Tweedles run out of fuel and decide to check in at the Clown Motel. They practically spunk themselves at the site of the cemetery and start taking pictures of everything. Meanwhile, the ladies seem to be caught in some kind of loop and keep driving past the motel time and time again. Eventually they decide to pull in as well. There's some awkward cringy dialogue as they realise there's only one room key and no one to serve them. Boyfriend makes excuses, Books makes faces, Boring makes threats, and Slag makes a puddle on the floor at the sight of 3 sweaty nerds in a clown-themed motel. So the slumber party begins and everyone gets wasted. Boyfriend and Slag start pillow fighting, then wrestling, while Dee, Dumb and Dickhead watch them like they're on a Lazy Susan in an Amsterdam peep show. Meanwhile, downstairs, Books and Boring fail the Bechdel test. Later that night, Books finds a journal written by, I shit you not, Detective Jane Doe. Ironically, Detective Jane Doe is the only character whose name I can remember. According to the journal, apparently Detective Doe was working on a clown case. Everyone goes to bed, and in the middle of the night, Slag is woken up by one of the funniest scenes in the movie. Slag tries to tell Boyfriend about the clowns, but Boyfriend doesn't believe her and says she's high. Slag eventually agrees and goes to the shower to sober up. Inside, she finds Tweedledum, and they have sex while a pencil drawing of a clown watches on. Morning comes and the girls get ready to leave. As soon as they get to the car, however, they find all the tyres have been slashed. They immediately go back inside and start throwing blame around, and Tweedledum realises that the writing on the window that they chalked up to some dumb drunk prank is actually written on the inside of the window and in his blood. With Boring's permission, Tweedledee goes to get a gas can from her car to refill the RV. While investigating why it still won't start, they find that the battery has been stolen and go about swapping out the one from the car. But never mind that, Tweedledee walks in on a guy dressed like a pig giving it to Grandma's Sunday roast.
Well, well, well. What do we have here?
Oh, God! And I'll leave the rest up to your imagination. If you've been sleeping in the back of the class, I think it's about time that you woke up, because I don't know if you've noticed, but this is where the weird stuff starts to happen. While hams are getting glazed, Tweedledum goes back outside to check on Tweedledickhead, only to find that he's dead.
Oh, fuck. Oh my God!
Okay, maybe I've changed my mind. Maybe there is a god after all. After being fought off by everyone not already dead or at the carvery getting seconds, my favourite clown goes back outside and finds Tweedledickhead somehow still alive. Doesn't matter though, with some quick thinking skills he manages to get a windscreen wiper and finish the job. What a lad. Neville Longbottom gets wheeled out and now it's time for some pork chops. One of the statues disappears and... Back in the room, Boyfriend consoles Tweedle solo over his friends dying in hilarious ways. After some hallucinations, night falls, and the clowns outside, unable to use doors, just sort of chill out and wait for our protagonist to do something stupid. Boyfriend spends the night looking through Tweedledee's camera, and after some pretty hilarious moments of seeing them all as clowns, she sees the last moments recorded, and we get this slice of fried gold.
I have to show you guys, like, we were all clowns, and Spencer was getting butt-fucked by a clown.
Yeah, sounds like Spencer.
Everyone legs it outside. Pennywise stands in solidarity with his tribal roots, and Tweedledum starts trying to jumpstart the RV. And dual-wielding bowling skittles, we have a new Best Clown contender. In an attempt not to scratch the RV and triple the movie's budget, the clowns just sort of awkwardly jostle around and slap it for a bit. Books, whose, may I remind you, only character trait is reading, decides to read a bit more of the journal she found. We join Detective Doe again. Turns out she got lost down the mine shaft looking for a missing partner, and the way the journal ends is a stuff of legend.
Wait, I see a light above. Hopefully that ladder will hold.
It's the legendary Black Beast of...
Dink the clown appears on the roof. They double down on the gay joke and find a dildo. And Boyfriend comes out with the best one-liner in cinematic history.
It's time to change some nuts. some lug nuts.
My fucking sides. The little clown reappears and then starts gently tapping the roof with a crowbar, and then throws what appears to be a smoke grenade inside. Everyone bails, and then we have some Duel of the Fate shit going on with their diminutive assailant. And misses. Boring bonks him from behind with the dildo, and he just rolls to the other side of the car while Tweedledum again shoots him and misses. On the other side, he fights Slag, stabs her in the tit, then gets his lug nuts changed by Boyfriend. The earth shakes and everyone panics. The party splits, with Slag and Boring going into a room in the motel, while Bucks, Tweedledum and eventually Boyfriend decide to leg it into the desert. Inside, Boring tries to stop the bleeding tit. Everyone else spots the cave leading to the mine shaft, and they get so wrapped up in a conversation about how they're trapped in the clown plane that they somehow fail a spot check and get ambushed by the clowns. The clowns then all grab a little bit of Tweedledum and start pulling him apart. Both of his arms come off, and if you slow it down you can see the rig that they used to do this without any real attempt to cover it up. The clowns take the time to explain the deep clown lore and that his soul will be theirs. However, Tweedledum has watched $1 Million Baby and decides to do this.
Well, guess what, you bitches? You're not getting my soul, cocksucker!
For some reason, that American Horror Story looking clown gets blamed for this, and the other two chase her down and beat her to death with the very obvious fake prop. Then for good measure, my favourite clown undoes his dungarees and takes a dump on a corpse. Meanwhile, this county bloke reappears and chases either two back from the office to the room, where they start to argue about whose fault this is. And honestly, I can't do what happens next justice by describing it.
Did I come at a bad time? No, really. I didn't mean to interrupt. Who am I kidding? I've come to collect my soul. What? You can't frame me, bitch!
Did you forget I was a girl?
I thought you were a little boy. Oh, bitch!
This film is 1 hour and 35 minutes, and it's moments like this that almost make it worth it. Anyway, he manages to turn the tables, and he officially takes the first place prize as favourite clown.
They created you, and you will respect testicles! You must respect testicles! Ah! Yes! Yes! Respect the testicles!
Bucks and Boyfriend avoid the clown patrols, with Slag following not too far behind. As they make their way through, Slag gets grabbed by second favourite clown and the others hear a scream. Slag manages to knock out second favourite clown, and she puts one in the porker, managing to avenge Tweedledee's Tweedlebum. They find what looks to be the tunnel that Jane Doe described in her journal, but with the clowns not too far behind, Slag elects to stay behind and sacrifice herself. Apparently, she'd always loved Boyfriend, and now that Boyfriend is getting married, she knows she doesn't have a chance anymore.
My favourite type of magic, lesbomancy.
She pistol whips SFC, but the Darby Allin cosplay clown catches her and manages to rip her tongue out and kill her. R.I.P. Slag. Bugs doesn't last very long either, and it looks like Boyfriend is the winner of our 74th annual Blunder Games. She manages to escape and... psych! She's at the motel again! We see the painted faces of all of her friends staring back at her, and it turns out when a clown kills you, you become a clown. Boyfriend gets chased back to the motel and locks herself in. She hears a noise from the bathroom, and it turns out Jane Doe has been here the entire time, presumably sustaining herself on a cocktail of airborne dust and cockroaches. Realising that her fate is sealed either way, she decides to step out and become a clown. The film cuts to black and a post-credit scene shows her emerging from the cave, fully clownified in a Wish.com Harley Quinn outfit. The end. Much like a breakfast tuna sandwich, Clown Motel is a terrible idea and yet strangely compelling. Though the beginning and ending are a little slow, the midpoint in the RV is some absolutely amazing schlock, and me and the person I watched it with were crying laughing at some of the line delivery and scenery chewing that was going on. Clown Motel is best enjoyed if you're drunk, stoned, or dissociating from reality, and if you aren't doing at least one of those things in the year of our Lord 2020, I'm not really sure what to tell you. It's like £2 to buy it on Prime Video, so if you fancy supporting the creators and presumably contributing 50% of the sequel's budget, for the sake of the price of a Mackey's double cheeseburger, you can stock up on some strong alcohol and just watch the funny bits. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. This video is 100% getting copyright claimed, but I enjoyed doing this, and I'd like to see it become a regular thing in future with other films, possibly at the risk of my own mental health. Goodbye!